Hey folks, it's Dennis from Aspen Thicket Grouse Dogs, and I'm going to put together a little video for you today to talk about scouting in the spring. And today might be a little bit of an off day because we still have a lot of snow in the area, but it's a good time to get out and kind of proof the stuff that you looked at over the winter time. You may have been on satellite photos, Google Earth, Onyx. You may have purchased some of the maps that are available online with some of the aspen cuts and whatnot. And it's always good to, get out and actually proof that stuff. And the best time to do that, at least in my opinion, is the very early spring, before you start seeing a lot of vegetation come up, because you can look for miles and miles right now and you can, see the different cover types and a lot of the edges along some of the cuts and the habitat that you normally wouldn't be able to see when the vegetation is up. Right now I am located at a cut that is probably about, I want to say it's 7 to 10 years old, and it has some transition, features available to it that you would normally only be able to find by walking through it. So what I'm going to do is I will turn the camera around, we'll take a little ride through the cover, and then we'll talk about some of the edges that we can physically see right now. So let me flip this around, and let's see, can I do that here? Oh, I can't. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around and then show you some of the stuff. All right, if you can look over there, what you can see is a 7 to 10 year old cut. And as we drive along here, I want you to pay attention to some of the stuff that you're gonna see. Right there, you can actually see something that runs through the middle of it. Looks like a little cedar swale. And then if you are looking within that cedar swale, you'll see some tag alders that may have normally, been hidden behind these trees here when they're fully, they got some leaves on them in the spring. And then on this side of the cut, okay, if you can see in the background, there's a pretty defined hardwoods edge that runs along the top there. Now you'd probably be able to see that because of the elevation on it during the regular season, but if you can't, you can look across, then you can see. Now what I'm noticing here, as we drive along this, you see that cedar edge. You look at the different types of bushes and brushes and things that you see in there. I'm seeing good cover for grouse. I'm seeing some additional foods available in addition to this aspen, which is going to provide cover for them. Right here we have transitioning edge. I'll see if we can look back across that edge. One of the key things to look for when you look for these hardwood edges is what do the hardwoods have to offer in them. Now a lot of older hardwoods and the older aspen that is adjacent to these cuts, they'll have a second growth underneath it. And depending on the past couple of years, what we've been finding is, believe it or not, like a second growth of maple with those little spinners. The birds have been in that quite a bit, but also in a lot of the second growth aspen, what you find are your various shrub components that, like a dogwood or, I don't know, then it's escaping me now, but like those little knee, I call it all dogwood, but I mean there's a lot of stuff in there. That second story in an older aspen cut, as long as there's spruce around for thermal cover, works pretty good too. And a lot of times you can identify that stuff now. So as we move along this cut, if you look in the background, you see that cedar edge goes all the way. It comes pretty deep, and then it starts coming back out. Okay, and then once we get around here, actually, you're going to see that it kind of ends at a portion where it cuts. Okay, then if you look further in the background, okay, up on that hill, you can see another cut that was there that's probably a 20-year-old plus cut. Well, what we're seeing in this area is we're seeing a lot of different types of habitat, aspen classes back to back with good thermal cover, and then the shrubs coming from this, and then you have the adjacent hardwoods component here that may or may not have a second story. So, given the fact that this is on the adjacent to a road, it's a little bit easier to scout right now, but I felt it'd be a good area to look at. Again, if you look in the background, probably 400 yards back there, you'll see, a little bit higher aspen class than what we were just driving through. And that's separated pretty much by that cedar run and then the young aspen. I mean, if you can find something like that that's not on a real well-traveled road, it's dynamite. It's worth hitting. And then I'm going to turn it around here, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but if you look center mass out there between those spruce trees, you can see a younger aspen cut kind of buried between that, which is not one that you would normally see if the vegetation was up in the springtime. So this is just a little short video of me, going out and doing some scouting for what it's worth. I'm not an expert per se on that, but maybe it'll help you get out a little bit if you can and scout some of your covers and take advantage of the foliage not being up and look at those edges and whatnot. So thanks for tuning in. Remember to check out DT Systems and ask me if you have any questions with that. Otherwise, take care of yourself and have a good one.